sir. It's a pleasure to fight with you at last.
Omega lead, ejecting.
Roger, Control. Omega, this is Control. We should lift off of the second dropship. Orders?
This is Forward 3. The gantries are retracting at Gamma launch site. They're at full power and counting down to lift.
Greetings, Mech Warriors, and welcome to this Season 9, Week 2 Division E2 matchup between Blackthornes Dragoons and Grog. We had another match lined up for tonight that was Stun Steel Union versus Eyes. Unfortunately, it wasn't looking too good for that one. I don't believe Eyes was going to be able to field 8, so we decided to, since we had already gone live, to switch it up and show you guys something else. I, of course, am Bandit B17, and with me, as always, is Mr. MDM0.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Let us know if the audio sounds good. I know last time MD was pretty loud, I was pretty quiet, so hopefully I have that fixed now. Let me see if I might pump myself up a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully I'm even louder.
And I'm going to turn you down a little bit. There. All right. So, yeah, flying by the seat of our pants for this one, but that's okay. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do any sort of pre-stream interviews or anything like that I wanted to do. In fact, I guess I could throw this out there. I asked Fingo Red from Steel Union. I asked him, you're coming off a close Week 1 loss against the current first-place team in Division C, which was Kong. Did you change up anything in preparation for Week 2 versus Eyes? And he said, we knew Kong was going to be a tough fight going into it from our matches last season, but we're happy with the way we squared up with them. Eyes is an opponent we've never fought before, so it'll be interesting to see where the drops go. This week we specifically put some time into our playstyle, scheduled some drops against upper division teams to work through some ideas that they've cooked on the maps. So props to Stun, doing some work, trying to make it a good competition for first place there in Division E2. But of course, it looks like they're not going to be able to play Eyes at all because that match isn't happening. But like I said, we've moved on to Blackthornes Dragoons versus Grog. Both of these, what do you see over here from these two teams?
We actually have what could be a very good matchup tonight. We have Blackthornes Dragoons won their first match 5-0. Not only that, but the kicker, 5-0 with 40 mechs destroyed. That is a perfect game at a Blackthornes Dragoons. And Grog is not far behind, 4-1 in their first match, 33 mechs destroyed, I believe. Let's take a quick look back here again. It is 31 mechs destroyed, trying to give them a little bit of extra credit. But should be a pretty good matchup tonight.
Yeah, and both teams were pretty much ready to go when we stepped in and said, hey, we want to cast your match. So we're going right in to Drop 1, which is Canyon Network Domination. Let's take a look. All right, we are over on, I believe this is the Blackthornes Dragoon side, and Grog is in red on the other side right now. Looks like both teams just getting into the circle. BTD has, looks like a 15-second lead. Grog has not entered the circle yet. They've got that Arctic Cheetah up front, and they're starting to move up now. But now the clock has stopped, getting some initial hits in on Ray Razor. But wow, this Arctic Cheetah walking right into the middle of all of them.
Surprise attack by some mediums here in the backfield for Grog.
This looks like this is a bit of a mistake here by that Arctic Cheetah running right in the
Cheetah's
middle of them.
trouble.
But he's got their whole team turned around, and that's when BTD ends up coming in. They're hitting that Stormcrow. I don't know if that was an intentional diversion or what, but they were able to slaughter that Stormcrow very, very quickly. And now the fight has begun. They've got that Griffin with the Flamers going on. 2 dead on Grog, 1 on BTD. And it looks like a lot of focus fire going in on that Griffin 2N for Grog. But the Jenner, Ray Razor, and the Nova now about to go down for BTD.
And the Griffin overheats, so you can't keep those flamers running non-stop. That's a dangerous thing to do.
Team kill. Crash Rendar kills Lucenkia, the Nova. But the remaining 6 players for BTD pretty fresh, as the Adder is the next focus down for Grog. Things looking pretty good for BTD. They just need to seal the deal. Durnit in that Jenner 2C gets lagged. They are pumping a lot of shots into him. He goes down. but Grogcore able to pick up one additional kill. Nova is the next to be focused. Bad overheat. They're able to take some shots in on his backside. Looks like they've got him taken down. 2 mechs remain for Grogcore. The Jenner 2C and the Arctic Cheetah. And there goes the Jenner 2C. Last one left. Arctic Cheetah. Can he pick up one more kill? That Jenner 2C would be a great target.
He's got to try and grab the...
But looks like he's
never
not
mind.
able to land it. 3 dead for BTD. But BTD comes away with the 8-3 decision in drop 1.
A little bit of a loss of focus fire there. I actually kind of liked Grogcore's positioning at first. They had 2 mediums sort of over in the Epsilon corner. It felt like they were out of sight, out of mind as far as Blackthornes Dragoons was concerned. I really thought they were going to do a great job kind of luring Blackthornes Dragoons into the canyon and then kind of jump on them. But instead, it felt like the Stormcrow kind of went over to Theta for Grogcore. Blackthornes Dragoons, I mean, they just jumped right on top of him.
Well, that
while they were
suicide Arctic Cheetah just kind of falling in there, getting shot in the back, living to tell about it, or at least living through the initial encounter. Look at that Nova. I think that Nova on Grogcore was the one getting those initial shots in on that Arctic Cheetah. If they were able to kill that Arctic Cheetah, which they probably should have been able to do it, they could have turned around and received BTD. Instead, that Cheetah pulled the attention of Grog away from Theta, and that's when BTD went pounding right across the center.
And that's absolutely right. That Arctic Cheetah, not only did he get away with it, but he essentially played the proverbial squirrel in that match, where all the light mechs it felt like they all went after that Arctic Cheetah. They wanted the kill, and you should have gotten that kill, but you should have gotten it immediately so that you were able to maintain your position and not get strung out there. Instead, they got strung out. Felt like the mediums got jumped there. Now, it was a little surprising at the end there. One of the last mechs remaining for Grogcore was a Nova. I mean, you almost never see that. It's such a powerful mech, but I think the mechs were dropping so fast for Grogcore that Blackthornes Dragoons was able to handle it even with that Nova staying up there. But again, I like the initial positioning by Grogcore. I didn't like the playthrough. Blackthornes Dragoons with the tried and true, stick together, stay together, and it worked. Grogcore, I felt, could have done their positioning and taken advantage of it a little better than what they did there.
Absolutely. So, could have talked about what you think we're going to see in Drop 1 Domination Canyon Network, but we got in there, of course, really quick. Props to those teams for kind of delaying themselves, allowing us to get situated. Of course, we switched from a different match to this one. So yeah, we're very solid win for BTD right out of the gate. And BTD, of course, are they first place right now, or were they tied for first place?
They were not in first place, but that's only because they haven't reported their second week match, because it's obviously happening right now.
That is true. That is true. But they did have that 5-0 decision for their first week, correct?
Yes. And with this first match here, that would make them 6-0 and put them most likely in first place.
All right, let's see if we can take a look at the replay. So right off the bat, BTD moving up, taking the circle, getting about 15 seconds off the clock. Grog is going to be having no choice but to move in, but they still stayed relatively passive, sitting around that back line there. But then here comes that Arctic Cheetah right up Death Valley.
And keep an eye on what he does for the remainder of the Grog, or about half of Grogcore's mechs.
He does not see the Nova right there, and they get some shots in on him, but surprisingly, he gets away with it. So he turns their entire team around, starts chasing him. They actually have a Jenner flanking around behind BTD as well, but they were all able to get in. Great focus fire on that initial Stormcrow, and then, of course, the brawl just starts. That Arctic Cheetah does go down finally, so he was the first to die for BTD, but sometimes you would consider that to be a relatively bad trade in Drop 1. Usually the lights are the most valuable thing you have at Drop 1.
Trade that for a Stormcrow. I think they'll take that.
That is true. Normally you see the mediums die first. The reason for that, of course, is the massive amount of firepower they have compared to a light mech. And that is mostly why you see Lights being the remaining mechs alive on the field. Part of it also being it is just a lot harder to focus down a Light in a reasonable fashion. But they did get that Stormcrow down really quick. That Cheetah did turn them around. It did give them that initial penetration, but of course the Cheetah did die shortly after. Might not have been as good of a trade. I don't think I would ever send any of my Cheetahs in there in that method. Like, go get their whole team to turn around. At least, I wouldn't just send them right into the middle of their group like that, allowing them to get shot up. Maybe some sort of flanking maneuver to get them to turn, but that was definitely a ballsy move by that Cheetah. But
at the end of the day, it worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
And, honestly, I think it worked because BTD's focus fire was just superior. And I think because of the confusion of having that Cheetah, it probably kind of got Grog spun around a little bit. It's hard to call focus fire on a target when they're all coming in on your backside. So I don't know what the original plan was for Grog, but I have a feeling that shook it up and definitely caused some issues. But 403 coming out of the Nova, he definitely did very solid. Nova's in general doing really well lately in this current meta for Drop 1. But we are going to be going into Drop 2, Mining Collective on Conquest. We're no longer on Domination, so map control is going to matter. 2 lights, 4 mediums, 2 heavies, 0 assaults, so still a relatively light drop. Streaks are allowed again, if you so choose anyways. But Mining Collective, it has the ability to play ranged. It has the ability to play brawl. It's a pretty exciting map to watch. What do you think we're going to be seeing on this one from the two teams?
I would expect to see some brawl pushes on either side. Typically, you'll see teams fight kind of around Theta. I think in the lower divisions, especially where, some might say there's a little less experience, a little less, practice with trading and getting positioning in, you'll see some more brawling than you might experience, in a Div B, Div A match. And that's fine. It makes for an exciting match, but I would expect to see both teams kind of congregate Theta ramp side and give us a good old-fashioned firefight.
Taking a look over at Grog Core, starting on this east side, we've got a Viper, we've got a Black Knight for one of their heavies. They have brought an Ice Ferret, Griffin 2N, we're looking very brawly. Warhammer 6D, their duplicate, they took dual Jenner 2Cs. So that would be most likely missiles, SRMs. What do you got over on the BTD side?
Brawly again, Griffin 2N. We've got a Hunchback 2C that's actually ER mediums, 8 of them, on a little bit of an unusual build there. A Streak Summoner, a Orion 2C. That's a pretty good brawl mech. A lot of people don't necessarily know about that, but that Orion 2C is a mini Atlas build. 4 SRM 6s and an LB20. That'll make someone's day short real quick.
Looks like BTD has sent their strike force over by Gamma. They're going to be coming around hard on this right side. Grog is still a little bit scattered. That Viper is getting out of dodge, but they should know they're coming now. They have the high ground. We'll have to see whether or not they're able to set up a reliable firing line to receive.
They've got to get some
BTD
shots on this
push.
Summoner. He had a bad jump there.
He had a very bad jump, getting down to 81%, but he got away a lot better off than I think it could have been. But it looks like Grog Core
chasing
has,
Summoner.
I thought they called the push, but they sent their Jenners in alone, but they're not being backed up by the rest of their team. The rest of them stayed back. There are 2 Lightbacks coming in on the backfield of Grog Core, though, and they are effectively
Here comes
surrounded.
a Griffin as well, but they've been sending in mechs one at a time here. I'm not sure what Grog Core is doing.
They did manage to get a kill, though, on Ray Razor in that Orion 2C. That's a very big kill right there. Let's see if they can keep going.
Yeah, that is huge.
But I'm seeing a lot of
still
like 3v5
fighting.
fights going on here.
Yeah, fighting with just a handful of mechs here.
The rest of Grog Core is
there are Arctic
the
Cheetahs
lights
in the backfield. And that's a huge loss for Grog Core right now. But the focus fire on both sides not doing very well.
Looks like they're trying to get that Summoner down. NATO is in that Jenner, and they are able to take down Shagrin. 3 dead, though, for Grog Core. But there are a lot of hurt mechs on BTD. They just need to find them and get them killed. They're finally getting together in some sort of a brawl now with all of their teammates, and it is 3 dead on both sides. Red John in that Hunchback 2C in the backfield, 63%. pretty hurt. The Nova is hurt as well. But this main fight up on top here looks like a 3v2, just trying to handle the Arctic Cheetah and handle these lights who are just...
These Arctic
coming in
Cheetahs
and
are
messing
winning
with
the
them.
game right now for Blackthornes Dragoons. If Blackthornes Dragoons wins this, it's going to the Arctic Cheetahs. They have done so much work to take Grogcore's main mechs out of the fight here.
They need to start killing something, though.
That is
self-destruct and a team kill on
4
Grogcore.
kills for Grogcore that were not done by Blackthornes Dragoons
Oh, but
now.
then there's a team kill from BTD as well, and the 3 mechs remaining for BTD are very, very hurt. That Viper might be able to handle it, as the Ice Ferret too, but he's very hurt. If he can get a kill on that Hunchback 2C, that'll be very big for his team. But an overheated Nova, is that a PPC Viper, I think?
I saw PPCs coming out of him.
Check the build on him if you could. This is just crazy. These guys are just running around shooting at anything they can at this point. That Arctic Cheetah, though, still hot on the heels of this Ice Ferret. They're going to try and combo down the Nova, but he goes down fine. The last one remaining is the Viper, but everybody on BTD is hurt as well. He's perched up. This gets
Viper,
a PPC,
he does have a
shot in on him.
PPC and 5 small lasers on him.
He might be able to take down that Arctic Cheetah if he lands a shot.
This Viper has armor, but he has no structure
Oh, he gets
whatsoever.
lagged,
Oh.
and they're able to finish him off. Goodness gracious, 8-5 in favor of BTD. That was way,
don't
way
know.
closer than it needed to be.
I'm not even sure what we just watched there.
That Arctic Cheetah was actually doing pretty solid. He was about to lose his other arm, so he would have been down to, I think, 1 laser. But
Remember how I said that Arctic Cheetah would win it for them? Lusenkia with 2 kills, 456 damage. Speaking of which, Lusenkia last week had 12 kills in their round. Averaged
Lusenkia
500
MVP
damage
right
a game. Clearly MVP of this team right now for Blackthornes Dragoons. And once again, his ability to... He got up behind Grogcore and was just poking him from the buildings. And I think the only reason Grogcore sent mechs in one at a time and didn't push was because a couple of them were getting poked in the back and were afraid of, I guess, moving forward and leaving that cheetah in their rear, which is never a good thing to do. But again, still...
The Ice Ferret going 541 damage, though. I cannot believe that those couple guys ran into the main body of BTD and lived as long as they did.
Yeah.
You know, BTD comes away with a very close win. Those mechs were incredibly hurt, but...
If you go back to that replay, there were 3 self-destructions and a team kill for Grog.
And BTD had team kills as well.
And BTD had, I think, 1 team kill. I am pretty sure there were 4 mechs that went down for Grog that were not taken down by Blackthornes Dragoons. That is... I mean, I guess these guys are hitting override and going for it right from the start, but
they go hard.
It's killer. It's killer to lose mechs like that.
Gotta keep in mind, of course, this is Division E2. It is the lowest division in MRBC, so a lot of these teams are unseasoned. This is where they come to try and grow as a team so they can start working their way up the ladder. So we have to be careful how critical we are of these teams. Because they really are. I mean, I've been in this position before. Remember back when Marine Mechs were in the lowest division?
Oh, yeah.
We couldn't win a single match. I mean, that's the way it is. And then they figure stuff out and they start to do better. And that's all part of the process for growing. So we can, of course, be critical to try and help these teams grow. But, you know... There's going to be a lot of play here that is very raw and almost like quick play mode-ish. But they're going to look back at this video and they're going to try and, you know, figure out what went wrong, figure out what went right, and hopefully we can be used as a tool for that. So looking at the replay right now, Grogcore, they were set up with longer range weapons. I think I saw some medium pulse in there.
Yeah, there were some medium pulses out there.
And then, of course, the Viper with the PPCs as well. So they were standing up there getting some shots in. There's a first self-destruct for Grogcore, that Hunchback 2CA. You just cannot be having self-destructs. But there's that Arctic Cheetah sitting right up on top, and I believe he's got the Jenner with him as well, just harassing the backs. And that really kept a lot of these guys at bay. The Black Knight says, enough of this. He gets in there and starts working that Summoner down. Great job by NATO. I think he's the unit leader for Grogcore. I believe. I may be mistaken, but he was able to work that summoner down, and the Black Knight was able to come in and get some damage done there. And finally, Grog starts getting into a focus fire engagement, and they start actually pulling this back a bit. But there's that Arctic Cheetah just still doing some amazing work. This really comes down to the fundamentals of MechWarrior Online, especially competitive MechWarrior Online. And one of those fundamentals is heat management, and it's something we've all had to work on. We've all been there, and the amount of overheating and the amount of suicides I've been seeing, it's definitely too much. If either of these teams fixes their overheating issue, you'll see them do significantly better going forward. And there's another team kill right there. That was the team kill on the BTD side. But looking at the percentages here, BTD was not looking too hot. This Ice Ferret alone could have potentially clutched this one if he kind of moved out and just tried to isolate that Arctic Cheetah. Instead, the two of them, they're in full brawl mode. They stick around. They're still shooting. They could have tried to reset the fight a little bit to try and get a gank on that Arctic Cheetah. That would have been a huge turning point, but couldn't get away. And of course, the Arctic Cheetah finally gets a good shot in on the back of that Ice Ferret, takes him out. And then the Viper, man, that Viper, if it had like small pulse and machine guns or something like that, I think it probably
would have been game over. Yeah.
Right there. This Viper was doing fantastic. I think it was limited by its firepower, unfortunately. But good leg right there. I think he might have even popped his own leg on. No, that couldn't have been right. But tough fight, very tough fight. But we're going to be going into drop 3, River City on Conquest. BTD up 2-0, 700 rep to 250. Pretty good start for them, but as the tonnages increase, Grog Corps, they might be able to come back. We've seen streaks happen. We've seen comebacks. It can happen. We'll have to
and
see
we all
whether
know
they can get
that
it together.
These heavier drops are really an entirely different game. It's quite common to see teams that are really good in these light drops. They have good light pilots, etc. But then they might struggle, or another team might have some poor light pilots, but who do very well in mediums or heavies or assaults. And as you get to these heavier drops, sometimes you can see the balance shift in these matches. And that's, to be fair, that's what we're hoping for. We want to see close games because it makes it more entertaining for us to watch and for you guys hopefully to watch as well. But so far, I mean, that last one, only 3 mechs alive for BTD, like you said, very close. And, the Viper build might have hurt them there, but that's part of getting experience in MRBC. This is Grog Corps' first season. They're learning, and I'm sure they're learning a lot at this point.
Absolutely. So I am over by Blackthornes Dragoons. They have the starport. They're dropping with their commander mech, the Marauder 2C. They do have Griffin 2N, Night Gear, Timberwolf, Huntsman, Warhammer 6R, maybe rolling up. Looks like we've got a hold.
Yep, that's my fault, isn't it?
What? Time of day?
It's time of day, yeah.
Are they having you restart?
They're holding for daytime. Luckily, I can't communicate with the teams in Spectator.
Try going into cockpit. You might be able to.
Nope.
No, it's only in the lobby that you can, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if they might restart when the timer clicks over, but I'm not entirely sure. Ha. Gives you a little bit of time to talk about it, I suppose.
Yeah. All right. Well, looks like we've got PPC Ultra AC5s coming out from the Warhammer 6R. Medium pulse lasers, 8 of them coming out of the Marauder 2C. They do have brawls with the Griffin 2N. And heavy DACA coming out from the Night Gear. That's actually kind of a Kodiak build. 2 Ultra AC10s, 2 Ultra AC5s. Very heavy DACA. We'll have to see if they can use that effectively. They've got the Huntsman with SRMs and small pulse. SRMs and small pulse out of the Timber. SRMs and SRMs. So very brawly with a little bit of Overwatch capability coming out of BTD. On the Grog Corps side,
You have the exact opposite. Very Overwatch with a couple of brawlers mixed in. They do have a Stormcrow brawler. And it looks like some medium lasers, clam medium lasers, a Marauder 2C with ERPPCs and small lasers.
So pretty mid-rangey. They do have a little bit longer range as well. Interesting build on the Shadowcat. ERPPC, SRM, medium pulse laser. A little bit of everything coming out of that Shadowcat. Not my favorite build, but we'll see if he's able to use it effectively. All right. Do we want to mulligan this then?
Yeah, we should have them mulligan.
All right. I'm going to mute my mic here and talk to the teams so you can
give a little rundown here. So far, a pretty close game with the last match there. Like you said, I think that Viper build really hurt them. Something to point out there, I'm not sure we covered it right at the end. At the 12-minute mark, I think folks saw it. It was 4-4 until there were two self-destruction and a team kill by Grog Corps, and actually a team kill by Blackthornes Dragoons as well. But that made it 2-3, and really I think was the turning point in that match. A 4-4 match with some very hurt Blackthornes Dragoons probably would have been a game over for Grog Corps, but just the fire discipline, and it's hard in these competitive matches to know when not to pull the trigger and when to pull the trigger. And that's something that they'll gain experience as they go about. This is Grog Corps' first attempt at MRBC. Blackthornes Dragoons actually participated in Season 2, North American Division D, a very long time ago. Obviously, we're on Season 9 now, but a little bit of experience there. And I believe they were also in the MechWarrior Online World Championships as well. So definitely some experience, some good players on Blackthornes Dragoons, some names I think folks will recognize. Grog Corps also doing fairly well here. Their best player right now probably would be Zerial, who has an average of 354 damage, 6 kills so far, or Captain Judas, 422 average damage in a game. But as we mentioned, Lusankia for Blackthornes Dragoons with 12 kills, 550 damage average in the first round. Clearly one of the best players on Blackthornes Dragoons' side. And we're waiting here as the teams are self-destructing. And we'll get us right back in lobby. Apologize for the delay there, folks.
All right.
We'll get it turned around.
Looks like we can get that reset then. Hopefully they can get in relatively quickly before the replay catches up. Looks like it's catching up right now anyways, but all right, well, while you get them back into the lobby, I think we should do a giveaway. We'll do lots of giveaways just to make up for this interesting day.
Giving away half of MD's Mech Lab.
Yeah, basically. All right, so I've been gathering up everybody who's talked in chat here since the stream started. I'm kicking out Moobot, myself, and MD. And let's just do a giveaway. I've got 26 people that have said something since the stream started. So everybody, after this giveaway, feel free to start discussing what you see, talk, get engaged, and then you'll be entered in automatically to the giveaway. This first one, we're going to do premium time. We're gonna do three days of premium time. 3 one-day premium time codes for this one. Let's see who comes away the winner. Toaster! Toaster is the winner. See,
That's
okay,
right.
so Switchblade,
Didn't Switchblade have this problem?
Switchblade casts in like all of the 54th MR guys. I mean, you can see who's in the list. 54th MR guys all win, and so now Toaster wins premium time. So congratulations to Toaster. I think it's just maybe people just like watching their teammates. I don't know. Alright, well, Toaster, I'll be sending you those 3 days of premium time after the stream is done. All right. Did you
Let's
have to
try
leave
that
the
again.
Lobby? I'm not in the lobby.
I don't know why you're not in the lobby, because you were there.
You didn't launch, did you?
I did. We're in game. Did you leave the lobby?
I don't think so. Well,
I saw you in spectator slot. Did it not pull you in?
maybe it failed to launch. I just alt-tab back in the game, and I'm sitting here staring at my mech.
Oh, well, that's fascinating. Radiocast number 1.
Look at that mech. It's a beautiful mech.
Well, I will give the Radiocast here. Blackthornes Dragoons going up for a quick Gamma Cap. Grog Core is going high Upper City towards Epsilon. They do have the longer range deck here. The Upper City is a pretty standard play for that long range, and it looks like Blackthornes Dragoons is going to go straight into the water into Grove. That's the right response for an Upper City position, and I'm not sure Grog Core has any idea that they're there yet. They do now taking a little bit of fire, but they don't have any mechs to return. They're just taking a little bit of fire and letting Blackthornes Dragoons cross into Grove without really taking any damage. So at this point, we're on a full rotation now. Grog Core is dropping under the bridge, moving up to Starpoint, while Blackthornes Dragoons in the Grove. Blackthornes Dragoons does have more brawlers. They should just push at this point. Doesn't look like they're necessarily willing until right about now. Here they go, pushing in. Grog Core is still moving into Starport and not putting a lot of fire down in response. Basically just doing a running strat, I guess, but they're getting run up on. Timberwolf goes down for Grog Cores. It is now 8-7 Blackthornes Dragoons in front, and Blackthornes Dragoons is closed into brawl range on Starport. This is not going to go well for Grog Core. Grog Core trying to put up a little bit of a fight focus, but a lot of mechs spending a lot of time positioning, not putting shots down range. Blackthornes Dragoons is coming on strong onto the runway, pushing down Grog Core. Some of those mechs dropping down into the tunnel, which is going to be an even worse position for them. And right now, it is now 2 down for Grog Core. And I think Blackthornes Dragoons easily has the upper hand at this point. Lots of damaged mechs on Grog Core's side. Blackthornes Dragoons moving around, finishing them off one by one. 3 down now. Timberwolf for Blackthornes Dragoons is pretty hurt, but it doesn't seem like Grog Core has the focus anymore to be able to put some damage down on him. They do have a mech over at Theta capping. That is a Shadow Cat, which is not going to be fast enough, I think, to pull off the cap. They do have a 3-1 cap advantage right now, working on the 4 cap, but there's only 200 tickets consumed right now. There are only 2 mechs remaining for Grog Core. Not a single Blackthornes Dragoons mech down. Stormcrow is down for Grog Core, and it is the Shadow Cat in the rocks on the water with a 4 cap advantage, but only 0 kills, 237, 240 tickets. Not going to be nearly enough to try and delay this game and win on the cap advantage.
Well, that was a good radio cast.
Thank you. Still going on right now. Grog Core has the Shadow Cat running off on the other side of Citadel now towards the fuel tanks. But he is, at this point, just trying to prolong the inevitable. He is being chased by a Huntsman, but it appears the Huntsman only has pulse lasers and maybe SRMs on his build. Let's take a look. SRMs and small pulse lasers, so he doesn't have the range, and that Shadow Cat is rather quick, but Blackthornes Dragoons doing the right thing. They're spreading out, capping. Shadow Cat at this point just trying to prolong the engagement, maybe find a guy on his own and get a quick kill if he can. You need all the kills you can get at this point for Grog Cores, because right now they don't have any. Shadowcat now heading off into the mountainside. It is now a 4 cap, soon to be 5 cap advantage for Blackthornes Dragoons. 379 tickets for Grog Core, not nearly enough. And it's just a losing fight at this point. Blackthornes Dragoon seems pretty content not even to search out for that Shadow Cat. He did go back over behind Sigma. They've got a couple mechs on Sigma, and they're not even looking that hard for him at the moment. It looks like they're just kind of spreading out, making sure they have a full cap on every point. And I think they're leaving a mech at every cap point, just waiting for that Shadow Cat to show up, and then they'll converge on him and finish off the deal. Let's see, the mech he is going to challenge is a Griffin. And let's take a look to see how damaged that Griffin is. Has a weak leg, rear CT, but this dual PPC Shadowcat's not going to be able to cut through that Griffin fast enough. Shadowcat backs off of Epsilon. He's trying to get around behind this Griffin and maybe get a backcore on him. But while he's doing that, the rest of Blackthornes Dragoons converging on his position, and Epsilon will be his final resting place, it appears. Griffin has backed off. Maybe the Shadowcat thinks he has the advantage there. But here comes the rest of the team. Nightgeyer coming up top in Upper City, putting the damage down, and it is about to be all over for the Shadowcat. Down he goes. There it is. Blackthornes Dragoon 8-0. Drop 3.
So yeah, that was fun.
I enjoyed it.
All right, well, I'm gonna do another giveaway.
Oh, that was a good suggestion. It's a shame that it's a 5-minute delay. Logan, I'll put your camera on the monitor. I could have done some real. There you are in the lobby, Bandit B17 right here, spectator.
Really? I
Yeah.
clicked quick play. I had no rejoin option.
Can you see that?
Oh my god.
There you are, Bandit B17, hanging out
Are
in the lobby.
Are you able to like kick me and re-invite me?
That's what I'll do. That is a new one. I've never heard of that happening there.
Well, I apologize. This has been pretty much the worst cast of my entire career, so
Oh,
I guess it
I'm
had
hurt.
to happen sometime.
that was my first MD only cast.
You did fantastic. Thank you very much. I was able to follow along very well. This is
Now you're just making me feel better.
I take responsibility for this, so. Krull Isaac 242, you win a mech bay. I will send that to you after the cast is done.
Do you have a lobby invite? You should. Let's see if it'll let you join this lobby. There you are. Are you in the lobby?
I am. So what was the final score? 8-0
8-0
for BTD?
for BTD. Grog Corps spend a little too much time maneuvering and not enough time shooting. Blackthornes Dragoons basically just chased them in a smaller and smaller circle until they got right on top of them. And at that point, you know, it was the majority brawl with a few Overwatch versus the majority Overwatch with a few brawl, and the brawlers are going to win that 9 times out of 10. They did so.
All right. Well, we're going to be going into drop 4. I don't have anything really to show or anything like that, but drop 4, Polar Highlands, very large map. On Conquest, this is 2-2-2-2, so 2 lights, 2 mediums, 2 heavies, 2 assaults. We might see fast mediums in use for cap games, so there might be some plays over some of the cap points. Usually you see pretty long range mechs in use, ER large, PPCs, stuff like that. But doesn't mean you can't brawl. Polar Highlands, it is possible to brawl on this map. You can go hard, you can you can definitely take it to them, but closing that distance can be difficult. Very, very
Blackthornes
difficult.
Dragoons has been brawl the whole night. I wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe do a fast cap brawler sort of strategy, try and get the cap advantage, and then just force Grog Corps into an engagement that they don't want to have.
So, all right, let's go in and take a look at what they do.
So I guess we just, with my screw up on the lobby for River City, and then whatever the lobby just did there for your viewing pleasure, we just kind of drop 3 off there. Are you in the game this time?
I am in the game this time.
There we go. A good start.
Just waiting for those dropships to get started. Alright, I'm over on the Grog Corps side. Everybody's coming in on their dropships. Looks like we've got Marauder 2C, Jenner 2C, Timberwolf, Arctic Cheetah, Ice Ferret, Hellbringer, Shadowcat, Marauder 2CA. So dual Marauder 2Cs in use. They do have that Ice Ferret, very fast medium. Not the fastest medium, but it can keep up with the Cheetah. So it's very, actually that is very fast. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Fast medium. What do you got on BTD side?
Dual Kodiaks, Night Gear, Hunchback. We have a Warhammer and a Shadowhawk, and this is a little bit an old school dual AC5, AC2 Shadowhawk 2H. Don't see those too often anymore. Kind of a fun mech though. If you like the ballistics, if you like a little bit of maneuverability, and can't deny that Shadowhawk is one great looking mech.
So
they have a Jenner 2C and a Cheetah for their light mechs.
Right off the bat, Grog Corps splitting for a Kappa Sigma grab. BTD gathered up on Gamma, but did not opt for a second point off the get-go. So Caps will be initially in favor of Grog Corps. They do have some ER larges and PPCs, so they're looking to maybe keep BTD at bay.
BTD sending both lights over to Epsilon. Can be a good strat if you're expecting to have some combat on the cap points, but it does put you a little behind the 8 ball as far as capping goes.
Looks like the Marauder 2C and a very slow Jenner are scouting ahead. The Jenner is fanning out a little bit, but Marauder 2C taking point. He might be the first ones up. Well, we got some shots in from the Hellbringer. They've seen BTD moving right to left, heading towards Theta. They did have a mech at Theta, but it looks like he hasn't captured
And there is
Theta
a
yet.
Shadowcat at Theta. BTD sending their main body, basically, with the Hunchback leading the way towards Theta, but there's going to be an engagement right over Theta right now.
So that
light
Hunchback
mechs
versus
recalling for
Shadowcat.
BTD.
Yep. They are bringing in those light mechs. Looks like that fight over Theta will be happening relatively quick here. Let's see if he can get away unscathed. They
And that Shadowcat's going to pass in the night.
and he is getting out of there. But here we go. We got Grog Corps coming in the low ground. Blackthorne Dragoons, they're about to breach up on the left side. And I think Grog Corps might be getting a little bit too close to the enemy here, but they're able to get some shots in, really good hits in. On that Warhammer 6R, he kind of silhouetted himself.
Warhammer's in a little bit of trouble right now.
They're sending that Jenner 2C right up to him. That's TML Winston, 43, and he gets taken down. So a big kill there for Grog Corps, and the rest of BTD not able to respond, but they're finally starting to get hits in on that Marauder 2C. He's shaking it off, trying to back up around the corner, but he hasn't been able to drop into the pit yet. While that's happening, we've got 2 BTD lights on that Hellbringer. They're working him down. The Arctic Cheetah and the Shadowcat trying to help, but not able to shake him off quick enough. So big
That Shadowcat's in
there.
trouble now. He's got a Kodiak over watching him.
So the rest of Grog Corps, they need to get in and start killing some guys on the backfield, because the lights for BTD, once again, are winning this for them. They're jumping on that Kodiak 3, trying to get him down. The Ice Ferret and the Jenner 2C right there. Self-destruction by a Grog Corps player, and another one fell as well. Finally, the Kodiak 3 gets brought down, but they're down 3 mechs on Grog Corps to 2 mechs on BTD.
And a self-destruction on a cold map like that is tough. It's tough to handle.
Absolutely. Shadowcat jumping in the backfield, just trying to get PPC shots wherever he can. Currently, the caps in favor of Grovcore, 2-2 caps with a little bit of a ticket advantage, but they are hemorrhaging mechs. NATO in that Marauder 2C, getting jumped on by a pretty much fresh Kodiak 3 with Ray Razor, and he is trying to shake it off, but he has nowhere to go. He's going to get off maybe one more shot. Ice Ferret coming in on the backfield of that Kodiak. If he can get a quick backcore,
and Kodiak's not
huge.
paying attention either. Oh, he's not going to get the core, though.
3 small pulse lasers, 1 large pulse laser on that Ice Ferret was not enough to backcore that Kodiak in time.
That's a time when you wish you had the full small pulse Ice Ferret. You probably could have gotten the backcore away on that Kodiak.
Timberwolf gets legged. He's going toe-to-toe with the Kodiak, gets shredded down. Last one remaining is the Ice Ferret. Initially, pretty good gank by Grogcore, but they lost the light fight, or at least they allowed the lights to get in on their backfield, kill some of their heavier mechs.
I think they got a
like
little too close, too.
And while that was happening, yeah, I do think that they kind of walked into the range that BTD wanted to be fighting at. A lot of ballistics, a lot of DACA.
A lot of DACA, and there were some large lasers, large pulse lasers. And then large pulse lasers have about the same range as ballistics, but a little less DPS in terms of just, when you close to that brawl range, I'd take a ballistic mech any day over a laser mech, even on Polar Highlands.
So
at least with that range.
8-3 in favor of BTD. BTD coming out really strong, just massacring Grogcore. They've got one more chance to try and pick up a drop win here if they don't want to get 5-0'd. They're going to have to come up with a very strong presence, though.
Did a good job jumping on that Warhammer. Only did 55 damage, but losing the Hellbringer at 113, and that was an ER large Hellbringer getting jumped in the backfield. Shadowcat stayed alive for a while, but only 147. Wasn't really able to get a lot of good shots on target. And just better damage across the board, really, by Blackthornes Dragoons there.
Absolutely. All right, take a look at the scores. BTD up 4-0 with 1,400 rep. Very strong. They've gotten all the bonuses so far. They are on track to pick up... Sorry. The maximum would be 1,750 rep with full bonuses, full kills. And they want it. You can tell they want it. If they're able to pull that off... Let's see what that's going to do to the leaderboards here in Division E2.
It'll put them right at the top.
It will put them directly at the top. Coffin's Raiders currently in first place with 2 matches played. 8 wins, 2 losses. This could potentially, at this point, it will put them in first place. Now, Forlorn Hope, they are also at 1,750. They have not played their match yet, or at least have not reported their scores yet. They also 5-0'd their opponent, as well as the X. Now, they missed out on a bonus, so they're only at 1,700. But right now, those 3 teams, BTD, Forlorn Hope, and the X, all fighting for that first place position. And so far, BTD is showing that they're going to make a really solid run for it. So,
and this is a good thing going against Grogcore for BTD. Grogcore at 4-1 originally after their first match. Was still in the running. This is going to put a major dent into their chances in making some noise in Division E2. So it's not only is it a really good match for BTD, especially if they can take this next one, but it also puts some distance between them and another team that was at the time close to them.
I am going to go ahead and do another giveaway. So let's load that up. I got 47 names in there. We'll do another Mech Bay.
As we're watching this match, watching BTD play, you know what this reminds me of?
What does that remind you of?
A little bit of when we first started doing competitive. BTD has appeared to have picked a strat that works for them. In this case, aggressive, brawling, sticking together, and they are doing it over and over and over again. And really, when you're a new team starting out, this is how we did it. I know this is how plenty of other competitive teams have done it.
Oh my God.
You pick something that you're good at, and you keep doing it over and over again until you're really good at it, and then you start to branch out into these other strategies. But in these lower divisions, just being really good at one strat can be enough to really set you apart from some other teams. So there's nothing wrong with doing that, and I like what BTD's doing. I hope they continue to refine their focus fire, to refine their positioning in a brawl, being able to spread out, not get in each other's way, and do good, accurate damage on one mech at a time, take them down, and switch to the next mech quickly. If they do that, it's going to take them a fairly long way. I think, that sort of, I hate to use the phrase one-trick pony, but, it's that sort of concept. Having one really good strat can bring you up through Div E. It can bring you up through Div D. I think it can get you into Div C before you really have to start splitting up into, okay, in this situation, it would be better for us to do something different than what we normally do, or let's see what the other team does and react to them and modify our strats accordingly. But for right now, they're doing the right thing, and it's working out for them very well so far.
Absolutely. I've talked to a lot of new teams coming into MRBC for the first time this season, and we discussed kind of what it takes to win. And, watching high div casts and stuff, you see a lot of really detailed things going on. But what I tell these teams when they're coming in, I'm like, if you want to be successful in your division at this stage, you need to focus on the fundamentals. You need to come in and you need to focus on focus fire, not overheating, building, having acceptable builds, fighting within your range, building your mechs to the ranges that you want to fight at, and good movement, not getting in each other's way. All these fundamentals. If you can perfect the fundamentals, you could end up in Div D or even Div C. And that's when you're going to start needing to work on a playbook or on actually outsmarting your opponent. Really, you got to get over that hump of all the new players just not shooting straight, blowing themselves up, killing each other. Get through that first. Focus on that. Don't overcomplicate your strats at all. Keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Now, we have seen a little bit of that killing each other bugaboo, or killing yourself, the self-destruct, tonight, mostly from Grog Corps, but BTD also with a couple of team kills, some self-destructs, things that they can go back and say, we need to clean this up. But that's like you said, that's what it's all about at this level. Get the fundamentals down. And the nice thing tonight, we've seen both teams really with no egregious build decisions or deck strategies, some different approaches to it, and there's nothing wrong with that, going more Overwatch or more Brawl.
All right,
I hope you're not looking at mechs.
At first thing, I was thinking alpha to alpha Lance shot here. BTD was prepared for it. They came up, looked towards Alpha Lance, and they don't see those mechs. You know why? 2 lights and a linebacker going hard to Epsilon. Hard to Epsilon.
That linebacker is a pretty good brawler in MRBC, though.
Very fast mech. Now, Kappa being captured by BTD, well, in the meantime, but they're sending their Kodiaks to deal with Kappa. So we've got a huge split. It looks like they're going for the 3 cap if they can kick them off of Kappa. Now, they've conceded Theta to BTD, and they're looking around like, where the hell is the enemy? They've captured Epsilon. They're looking in that direction. They figure maybe a light's over there, but that's a nice little strike team there with a linebacker and 2 lights.
I would love to see these mechs on Theta for BTD try and drop down on Kappa. And it looks like that's where they're headed, but this is a good strat if they can get the jump on Kappa from the high ground here.
They're going to need to. They need to hit this main body quickly, because there's going to be a 4 cap in favor of Grog Corps. Now, if they can kill main body in a main fight here quickly, then all the capping in the world is not going to matter. But
long-range PPC fire coming across now. These are some big targets down at Kappa, and they're stopping the cap.
Yep, so they're keeping the Marauder there. I think he's going to be able to stay down. Oh, no, he's getting hit too. They still are contesting that cap. He's just trying to stay in the corner here. Oh, another hit stops the cap on Kappa. They cannot seal the deal. He needs to stay low profile.
And now they're Blackthornes Dragoons rotating to try and catch these heavy mechs. Grog Corps needs to get the heavy mechs in, their heavy mechs either out of the line of fire here or some support. Now there's a light fight going on in the background. They've got a 3-1 on an Arctic Cheetah, the linebacker, and 2 lights for Grog Corps, hitting over by Gamma, this Arctic Cheetah. And if they can get him down, they've just legged him.
That's going to be big for Grogcore. Now, their
That's
main
gonna be
body,
big.
though, is going to get engaged here. And because that Marauder 2C
Immediately.
kept messing with the point, there's only 3 mechs up front against, looks like 5 mechs for BTD. I don't
BTD
think
is
these
pushing
assaults are going to
hard.
be able to live very long.
Yeah, they need to be a full reverse right here.
They need to just try and waste as much time as possible to allow their team to come in on the backfield. The linebacker and the cheetahs, they're actually coming in. They're going to try for backstabs here. So if these assaults
Good
can
strat
stay
if they can
alive,
get on it. These assaults have to stay up.
here
And
they
that
come.
linebacker needs to go.
Let's see if they can get some successful back caps. That could really mess them up. Here we go. Linebacker right up in the front, hitting them Marauder 2C in the back. The lights are up there. They got intercepted, but they are starting to scrum now. The Kodiak 3 did go
Now the
down.
Grogcore assaults need to get in there.
And they've got a sneak night gear jumped up from the left side here, but he's getting focused down by the Marauder and the Kodiak. Main fight going in the middle, though, and there's just not enough Grogcore
There's
mechs
not enough
there.
support for Grogcore. They need to move up. They need to get these guys. These assault mechs have to get in there. Another self-destruct by Grogcore.
2 mechs down for Grogcore, 3 now. That Arctic Cheetah all alone, about to get focused down. The rest of them got distracted by that night gear, who
Yeah,
is
they got
still
distracted on the
alive.
night.
He was able to get up there, distract, and stay alive for as long as he did. That's big for BTD. That backstab was not as beneficial as I think it could have been. I think they opted for a target that was too far.
Another self-destruction.
Another self-destruction, yep. Yeah, they need to clean that up for sure going into next week. But BTD is going to take this cleanly and 5-0. Very strong 5-0.
Let's see if they can pick up some last-minute kills here. Just get some points out of this if they can.
That night gear still up there, still harassing. That was a good heads-up play by him to basically turn half the team around and then stay alive.
Yeah.
Well done by Inkball.
At a crucial time, right when those brawlers got into the assaults, had them mixed up, that would have been the perfect time for Grogcore to get their assaults to push back around the corner and just lay into them while they were all mixed up, trying to deal with the fast brawlers in the middle of them. But that night gear on his own distracted 3 of the heaviest mechs for Grogcore. I mean, that's the difference right there.
Absolutely. Now, in terms of the cap strat, like, you know, we say keep it simple, but Grogcore trying to do something different here just to try and figure something out. I didn't hate what they were doing.
No.
I think that was a pretty solid thing because that linebacker and 2 lights, they could have won a light fight over Gamma if it occurred. I feel like the assaults should not have pushed up towards Gamma. They should have maybe set up at Kappa. Really, I think those assaults should have spent their time trying to waste as much as BTD's main body time as possible, allowing the linebacker and the 2 lights to maybe win a light fight. And they did. They killed TML Winston, which makes their cap battle that much better. But what they needed is time. And those assaults did not buy them enough time. And on top of that, they recalled the linebacker and the lights to fight instead of allowing them to cap Gamma. And there was not enough time. So keep your assaults back. Maybe set up a concave long-range battle or something over Kappa. Draw those 6 mechs in. Allow your linebacker to do its job. And just win the cap game. It could have gone very differently, but instead they filtered in 3 assaults up front and the Marauder 2C in the back and just fed it to BTD's main body, and they throttled them. Kodiak 3, Lusankia pulling 817 damage. Excellent damage. There's Zuri in the Warhammer 6R, 551. It could have gone very differently.
I think you're right there. I think there's also another opportunity Grogcore could have had if they didn't want to go the cap strat. Again, if they had set up for a little bit of a concave, let them come into them, or when they had that linebacker and the Arctic Cheetah move into the fight, that was the perfect time to bring their assaults in, let the Marauder 1v1 the night gear in the background. As long as he's distracting him and not getting back cores on your other assaults, get those 3 assault mechs, the 2 Kodiaks and a Battlemaster up there, and with the linebacker and the Arctic Cheetah in there, mixing it up with those assaults, you should have free shots without taking damage back. That would have been a great opportunity to try and bring some of that match back, recoup some of the damage that they took on those initial peaks around the corner trying to get to Gamma. So really, and this is part of the experience as as you play competitive, there's opportunities. Even when something doesn't go the way you want it to, or the strat doesn't go, there's opportunities in game to turn things around, to do things a little differently. And as you get the experience, they might go back and look at this and say, you know what, when we had those 3 mechs, those 2 lights, and that linebacker go in there, we needed to be up in the front shooting like we were at the beginning of the match. And maybe the next time they recognize that situation, they go ahead and do that. But it's all part of the learning experience that Grog's going through right now. Blackthornes Dragoons, again, a very solid performance by them.
And I can't stress this enough. We've all been there. Grog Core, don't get frustrated. Focus on the fundamentals, and you guys will be right where BTD is right now and even further. So you can be frustrated by what's happening here, but understand that you need to turn that frustration into motivation to try and fix it. It's a long season.
Yeah.
You have time to improve. You may not be able to take first place in the division. Focus on growing as a team. Focus on growing as an individual, and master those fundamentals, and you guys are going to be able to go far. Do not allow yourselves to say, well, screw this, we're just not good enough, we're not going to compete anymore, because we've all been there, we've all done terrible, and we've all started to figure things out. And you can get to higher divisions. It takes time. It takes time and effort.
And these casts really, not necessarily to toot our own horn here as shoutcasters, but the ability to watch a spectator at third-person view and see positioning mistakes or positioning opportunities as a game goes through for any competitive team, be it a Div E team or a Div A team. We all know EMP, when they won the World Championships, this is what they did. They watched these casts, they watched matches that they played, they saw what opponents did, they saw what they did, and they learned from them, took notes, said, this is what we're going to do better next time, we're going to practice it. It works from Div E all the way up to the World Championships. That's how you get better, and hopefully both of these teams, Blackthornes Dragoons and Grog Core, can go back and look at these matches and see the mistakes they made, the opportunities they had that maybe they didn't take or they didn't take as much of advantage of, and go back and build on it. And that's the most fun about competitive play, right? You go back, you build from it, you learn, you get better, and the next time around you win, and it feels that much better knowing that the ideas you had, the practices you did, led to you winning that match.
Absolutely. And as for the cast itself, this is like I said, probably one of the worst casts I've ever done. But we still pulled.
I'm gonna say it's one of my best.
People watching, I think, somewhere around that, 80 people. So really, not everybody would agree with me, but it really is all about the fans. You guys are fantastic, and I really thank you guys for sticking around and watching and stuff and coming back time and time again. We do this for you guys. This is all about you guys, and thank you for coming out and supporting these teams. All right, before we sign off, we're gonna do one more giveaway.
Yay!
This one's for 500 MC.
And while you thanked everyone for watching, you should thank everyone for listening as well to these golden pipes calling drop 3 for you.
You're feeling pretty good about that, aren't you?
I am feeling pretty good. You know what? That might have been your worst cast ever. I think this was one of my best.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. Lobby control. Time of day.
Oh, well, a little bit of a speed bump there, but
earlier, of course, we
I'm
did
a silver
have
lining kind of guy.
Unavailable, aka password 1234 from the Marine Mechs winning the Mech Bay. But Wingbreaker comes away with 500 MC. Congratulations, Wingbreaker. I'll send you that after the cast is complete. As for upcoming casts, we've got on the 26th, Switchblade casting Marine Mechs The Cabal versus 228th IBR Swamp Foxes.
And if you haven't gone and watched Switchblade cast yet, I highly recommend it. He does a great job.
Absolutely.
Who is he casting with Batman again this time?
I believe so. They are kicking
They're
our
a good
ass
pair.
right now when it comes to professionalism in shoutcasting. So, very good caster crew. They are actually the only other official casters for MRBC. We brought them on board. So make sure you guys go watch their cast. It is extremely entertaining. Hopefully we'll be able to put on a good show against 228 Swamp Foxes. No mercy.
No regrets.
After that, this one could be pretty good. The 30th of April, we've got me and MD again. That's next Sunday at, looks like 10 o'clock Eastern?
Non-normal time. Got it.
Non-normal time, yes. Isengrim versus Blackstone Knights Division B. I think those
that
two
should
are
be a
gonna
pretty good one.
duking it out to see who can start off in first place in Division B.
That's the two teams in Div B that have the weirdest strats.
Yes.
That's the matchup of like the crazy decks, crazy strats, crazy leaders. You know, a whole lot of crazy going on in that match. That should be pretty good.
That's going to be a good one. At the same time, on MRBC League 2, our other channel, make sure you follow both MRBC League and MRBC League 2. RJ Base will be casting Steel Jaguar versus Osiris.
Ooh,
That should be a good one
RJ's
as
got a good
well.
one.
We
Yeah.
will make sure to pass scores back and forth as we go through those casts, but we'll set up a multi-Twitch link so you can watch both of them at the same time. Both of them very key matches. Steel Jags and Osiris sitting below 228 Blackwatch right now, I believe, in the standings, as well as Dropship 5, but still a very close, very exciting matchup.
And 228 Blackwatch and Dropship 5, those are two teams that have taken some world championship momentum and really rolling with it. 228 did quite well in the regional finals. A little bit of a surprise there. And D5, the new surprise team on the block here, doing well as well.
Absolutely. Well, that is going to be it for us today. Once again, just to recap, we were not able to do our original shoutcast because they weren't able to play with 8 players. Switched it up last second. I pretty much drew some names out of a hat and basically whoever I could get a hold of quickly. BTD versus Grog Core, just kind of picked that one, and we were able to watch that. And obviously BTD coming out and doing very well against Grog Core. But yeah, we've got some great casts coming up. Make sure you guys tune in. But that's going to be it for us tonight. I am Bandit P17, and this is MDM0. See you later.
Thanks for watching, guys.